Hey there, so do you send out a lot of Word documents to people or develop a lot of documents that you send to people? Whether you're a teacher like me, a consultant like me, or just somebody who wants to have consistency in their documentation, stick around. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can achieve some of that result very easily. So welcome back, I'm Dr. Craig Engstrom, but for those of you who are returning, know that you can just call me Craig because, hey, let's not be like that. Let's just be on a first name basis around here. So in this video, as I said, I will be showing you how to basically create a branded document, and I'm going to show you this through a course outline that I have recently produced for the upcoming term. And I'm a big fan of personal branding or using branding in course outlines because I want to have students identifying with the university. And there's actually some research on this that shows that students do have a stronger identification with the institution if there's consistency in branding across documents. Okay, so let's jump to the PC and I'll show you how you can go about creating a very consistent branding in documents in Word. Okay, so first things first, as you can see here, this is one of my course outlines, and you will see that I have the department logo. This could be your personal logo. In my consulting business, I have my communication at work logo. For some documentation that I produce that goes on my personal website, I might use my Craig Engstrom Ninja logo, but basically you're going to have a logo probably somewhere in the document. That's probably a key factor for identification. For those of you in higher education, you could use the logo for the athletics, which is always a nice looking logo as well. But in this case, I'm going to use I do use my department's logo. I usually have some kind of information there, and you will see that we have the color here, which is the SIU brand colors. It is a sort of maroon color. There's a dark maroon, and then there's this sort of lighter maroon, and I like this lighter maroon. And you can see here then dial down and just some very nice, beautiful branding. Okay, so that's one of the documents. If you are looking for another version, here's one for my graduate level course. And again, same color scheme. Dial down and you'll see that I have the table here with a little bit more color matching than I had in the previous table. And then I also have important dates, and it depends on what the term is like, but for some of the undergraduate courses, this is a graduate level course, but I want to have important dates for people. But for undergraduates, I'll often have things like homecoming or a few other sort of big item dates that I think are important, sort of landmark items for having some identification with the institution, because really a goal is retention. Now again, this could be any document. Let me show you how I produce it in Word. Okay, so if I jump over to Word here, I have my course outline. The first thing you will note is that when I go into the header here where I have the logo, I want that repeating obviously on every page, which is why I put it into the header. But if I right click on it and I go to alt text, you will see that I have CMST department logo. It is important that you add alt text. This is valuable information for both search engine optimization if you're uploading documents to the web and you're doing it, say, not so much for a course, but for your own personal business. Any extra keywords you can add to the document is helpful, but more importantly, this is how people that are visually impaired are able to read the document. Of course, then you can create a table and you can create it in a variety of ways, but you want the color scheme to match and be set up for your organization. And once that's set up, you can have it consistent across documents. Of course, then you can go into table properties here, and just as a reminder, you want to add the alt text, again for search engine optimization, but more importantly for those who need screen readers and they need to know what this table is all about. You will also notice that I have basic one column, one row format, and this just makes it easier. Don't nest columns within columns or rows within rows, because then it becomes hard for screen readers to read that. It's a violation of best practices for disability design. Okay, the last thing that I want to show you, just as a little added touch, again for disability support, but also for search engine optimization, is to go to File, and in the file you will see Info. If you're working on a Mac, this will be in Properties, but what you'll have is an opportunity to write out what the title of the document is. You can actually add tags. I should actually do that. But tags might be something like business communication, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, and so on. When you upload to the web, this will also help with search engine optimization. You can give a little bit of a description. Let me jump back over to the PDF version of the course outline, and you will see that up here you have this detail of information, and that is actually the title of the document. So be sure that you're updating those so they match. And you might have been wondering, that was a course outline, where the heck was all the syllabus information? Well, on my personally branded website, students can go and get the course policies and outline right here. I save paper, I save time, but you will notice that all of the coloring is consistent. So how do I get that consistent? Well, what you'll want to do is, in your own organization, if you're a small business, create some kind of a standard guidelines. If you don't have the guidelines, it just becomes harder to maintain consistency. So any large organization, whatever you work for, is going to have some kind of identification guidelines or identity guidelines. And you will see here, this is the dark maroon for my institution. They give that hex code, they give the RGBs, and then they give, for this color code scheme, the color setup that is the one that I'm using in my course outline. This is just a better looking design. I like the color, in my opinion, so it could be preference, but then all of my setup is like this. Let me go ahead and jump over to Canva, because if you're working in your own business or you're working at an institution like a university, chances are you're probably using Canva. I've done a video on this, link in the description, on why I prefer using Canva and am willing to pay for a premium subscription. But one of the things is you can have a brand kit set up. And if I dial down to my colors, you will see that I've set up for my business the color codes that I like, as well as for my institution. It makes creating images and documents in Canva a lot easier as well. So as you can see, super easy to have some branded documentation, especially if you're trying to build identification with your institution or your company. It's super easy to do. There's no reason you shouldn't be creating every document you produce with consistency. Create identity guidelines, apply that palette to your styles feature. You can save that styles feature across all of your documents, making any document you produce super easy to sort of update. Of course, you don't have to set it up so that it has that. You can always have a new template and just kind of customize for each Word document. Hey, if you happen to like what I've shown you today, be sure to like the video, share it with others that you think might get value out of it, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next video.